Hello YouTube, this is Ben Yessel. How's it going? I don't know if I'll make another video tonight. It's getting a little late. Um, but yeah, there's some things I wanted to mention, but you'll have to bear with me. Sometimes these thoughts about dreams and things inside my own mind or whatever, psyche, are hard to pin down. And again, with the concept of dreams, I know I've talked about this a fair amount, other kinds of dreams. Hopefully these dreams and things I'm mentioning are new, or they're different, or yeah. So I probably have mentioned being in a house when I was 5 in Redmond or so, but that dream. But the house being a little different, being more of a solid red, blue, or white colored floors, or green, having kind of a 70s kind of feel to the house. This is going to tie in a little bit with another image I've had in my dreams of, especially being in a house. But I was looking at a section of a wall in a house that there's one dream with the orange wall, another one with yellow, another one with a blue, and these walls are nearby a staircase going up a little bit, or at least there was kind of an incline in many of these cases. And the thing about made this image stand up in my mind from some dreams I've had in the past. It has to do with this idea I had that, first off, some certain objects that were on the walls, and this idea I had that if I did something with those objects, that somehow something would happen. A little bit unusual. For instance, this is kind of a fantasy idea, I suppose, somewhat. Something kind of like Harry Potter, maybe, for instance. But so a lot of things on the walls were, wheels and clocks, also old-fashioned wooden, like bird clocks, can I jump out at you, levers and mirrors and switches and buttons and things like that. And if you, depending on what you did, you could open up a secret entrance somewhere, or some other effect would happen, something else would happen, and it depended on, yeah, this is kind of a fantasy concept, but I mean, for instance, with mirrors, if you look in a mirror, is it going to be you that looking back at you, or is it like some evil being, or somebody from another dimension comes in through the mirror and chases you or something? Or is it you, but maybe not quite you, kind of thing? All that kind of stuff. And then you can just, I mean, I don't know. I was too frightened in my dreams to really try much of anything like that way. Maybe I tried, it's a little bit like the image I have is also again with that 60s and 70s style colors and houses, solid colors, vivid colors. Sometimes there's a little bit of a connection with this idea and some of the stuff I'll be mentioning, but certain games I remember even playing when I was a little boy had certain colors or certain qualities to the game that suggested, or whether there's some different kinds of things in the game, like springs and I don't know, whatever it was, it suggested these kinds of things. Maybe my subconscious somehow. Anyway, so one of the big concepts I've noticed about some of my dreams is there's kind of this idea of, or a feeling of, waking life being the dream in our lives, our waking lives being like the dream, and the dream being our waking life, or us being more ourselves in dreams, or real selves. And so in waking life, we're not really always fully ourselves, because it's, I don't know, we have to survive, we have to, fend for ourselves somehow, and life is hard and that sort of thing. Um, so there's also this idea that um, sometimes in dreams, I've had certain people in my dreams that I think are referring to me, or talking maybe behind my back, or they're, but maybe not in a negative way, or I don't know. It's just this feeling that people are talking about you. I'm sure that's a pretty common theme for a lot of us. But um, that being said, there's this idea I have of being like in a doctor's office or some kind of office like that where I want to, you know, yeah, not necessarily being operated on. Maybe I don't know, but so you have these. You're not sure if they're aware that you're not sure if they're aware that you're listening to them, but they're talking about you. And with some of what they're saying, you can't really make out too well, but it sounds like, there's this idea, again, a suggestion of your life is the dream, and whatever's happening at this point is what's more real, kind of thing. So, that's kind of that's real interesting, I don't know, train of thought. It's kind of a deeper kind of thing. So I've had a few dreams like that before. So, I wonder sometimes if this is something evil or demonic. There are characters sometimes in my dreams, on occasion here and there, that have very knowing glances at me. They know something about me. How could they know this kind of thing? But it generally doesn't last very long. But you can, there's a certain look that someone can have, I suppose, that would be very unsettling that way. But yeah, it's interesting when you feel something like something bigger than yourself, or something when you come up against, whether it's a positive thing or a negative thing, when you come up against a being or beings that are people, whatever, entities and dreams that, or experiences you have that, you can't fully comprehend, or they're kind of bigger, right? It's happened before, I think, sometimes to me. It's very memorable when that happens, kind of thing. Anyway, and of course, nobody likes how doctors can be very stern, very businesslike, and that's, in that doctor dream I've had, it was people, some of the main guys, operating, supposedly operating on me, at least, doing experiments, or not experiments, but, observing things about me. Some of them were very, not very empathetic sounding, a bit more stern sounding. There's, times when, whether, especially in dreams, but there's times when we experience something that we can't put our fingers on, that we think we've seen before, like a deja vu, but it's deeper than deja vu. It goes sometimes much deeper. It's like, did I see this, or something regarding this, whatever I'm seeing, did it happen in a previous life or the pre-existence or something like that? I've had dreams where, I think people that I interact with aren't necessarily always people that I've known more like in real life. But I've had dreams where, people I've interacted with represent maybe ideas of people that I would either like to meet, or prefer to know, or have quirks and qualities that are intriguing, genuinely intriguing and memorable. But also, there's kind of the mysterious aspect. Some of this ties in, I suppose, with influence of media on me, I suppose. It's interesting, though, when you have a dream where you know that when you think about it, that some of these people in this dream weren't necessarily people that you've met in your own life, but have been people that you've kind of had an impact on you from media, or even something else that you can't put your finger on. Last thing I want to mention here in this video, is that there are kind of the Muppets have had an impact on me. I think when I was little, I had a dream where I think I was in some kind of green room of sorts. Not a green room. It was like a back room of a theater, but it was kind of yellow or white wallpaper. There was a lot of popcorn everywhere, a lot of yellow lights, and like the Muppets were in there. Some of them, especially Beaker and Miss Piggy or something, and it was kind of fun. But I mean, I suppose I've had dreams where Muppets were part of my dream more when I was younger, and it's easy to forget how big of an impact I think Jim Henson Muppets had, at least for me. It's easy to think about Disney, maybe, and overlook, again, Jim Henson. And, Jim was really insightful about, I think, the effect of colors and shapes and voices and all kinds of things on people. There's still a movie, I think, that was a Muppet Sesame Street, as a Sesame Street movie. I guess it's the same, similar things. But Big Bird is going away because he felt sad or something, or I can't remember what it was. But he went from the East Coast, Sesame Street's near Philadelphia or whatever, and that ballpark in New York City. He went east. Sorry, not east. He went west. He went west across. Eventually got to Midwest a little bit or something. Very, very scenic that way. And those images from that movie still occasionally come back in my dreams. But there's these ideas in the Sesame Street Muppet movies where you think about what is home for you, who are your true friends and family, and what's your identity. What are you about in life, and how do you find that or find that again or regain that? And it's interesting how the Muppets kind of touches on those things. And you wake up, woken up from those kinds of dreams, and think to myself, like, oh my gosh, you don't want anybody who's a good person to have bad things happen to them. Or you want people to know who they are better, and have good friends and have a good life, that sort of thing. Anyway, just a few thoughts for you guys tonight. Anything else I should mention about this stuff here? Again, I probably mention other things like this in the future, but it's sometimes the things that are very meaningful that we have a really hard time putting our finger on, or even, I don't know. It's hard to explain, but anyway, you guys take care. Have a good night. Talk to you soon. Bye.